You ever get that feeling when the internet just collectively loses its mind? That's exactly what's happening right now. And once again, at the center of the storm stands Kim Kardashian, the woman who can't breathe without sparking a headline. But this time, it's not about her billion-dollar empire or her latest fashion drop. No, it's about her 12-year-old daughter, North West, the child of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, stepping into the spotlight wearing something that has the entire online world in a frenzy. One scroll through your feed and it's all anyone can talk about. The blue hair, the corset, the piercing. The comments are endless and the tone is brutal. People aren't just gossiping. They're dissecting every thread of fabric on that outfit, every decision Kim made as a mom. It's a full-on parenting war playing out across social media timelines, and the chaos is feeding itself by the minute. You can practically feel the tension in the air, the kind of collective outrage that keeps influencers up at night refreshing their mentions. Kim's being dragged, accused, and analyzed like she's under a microscope, all because her daughter dared to have a look that screamed confidence at an age where everyone thinks they get to decide what's appropriate. The Rome trip was supposed to be simple, just a mother and daughter vacation. But nothing about being a Kardashian is ever simple, especially when cameras are always watching, ready to turn every street stroll into a viral moment. The second those photos hit the internet, it was over. North West, blue hair shining under the Italian sun, corset glinting, that faint smirk on her face like she already knows she's trending, instantly became the epicenter of the internet's moral debate. Comment sections turned into war zones. "She's 12, shouted one side. "Let her express herself," screamed the other, and caught right in the middle was Kim, once again trying to walk that impossible line between mom and megastar, between being protective and being progressive. But then came the real shocker, the moment that made even her fans pause. Because right there, in the close-ups, everyone noticed something glinting on North's finger. A dermal piercing, on a 12-year-old. That single detail flipped the internet from mild criticism to pure chaos. Threads exploded, think pieces dropped faster than you could blink, and everyone, from parenting bloggers to talk show hosts, suddenly had an opinion about Kim's parenting. Even the people who swore they didn't care about the Kardashians were tuning in for this one. And then, just when things couldn't get more uncomfortable, Kim popped up on Kai's Mafia stream, trying to laugh off the online tension, only for one of Kai's friends to casually ask how old North was. Kim said 12, and the guy's face said it all. Total shock. The awkward silence that followed was pure internet gold. That kind of viral awkwardness you can feel through the screen. Kim's smile faltered for a second, the energy shifted, and suddenly everyone watching could sense the weight of judgment hanging in the air. It was one of those moments that doesn't need editing to go viral. It was real, unfiltered, and messy. You could almost hear the internet sharpening its knives. Because here's the truth. Kim Kardashian knows what it feels like to be judged, but nothing hits harder than when people come for your kids. Still, this isn't the first time. Kim's parenting has been under scrutiny for years, and the internet never lets her forget it. Fans have accused her of being too lenient, too indulgent, too obsessed with aesthetics to say no. And the wild part? Kim has never denied it. She said it herself, she's a pushover. She'd rather pick her battles than get into arguments, even if it means letting her kids get their way more often than not. On the Kardashians, she's literally admitted it on camera while her sisters call her out for it. Khloé's been especially vocal, saying Kim acts more like North's best friend than her mom. She's talked about how her own household is strict, structured, full of rules, while Kim's home feels like beautiful chaos wrapped in Balenciaga. And Kim doesn't even fight back. She laughs it off, saying she just doesn't have it in her to be the strict mom. That honesty might be relatable, but right now it's coming back to haunt her, because the internet is taking her own words and using them as ammunition. "This is what happens when you're a pushover," one commenter wrote. "Your 12-year-old ends up with a piercing and a corset in Rome." Brutal. And it only got worse when People magazine jumped into the story, adding a professional voice to the chaos. They interviewed Brian Keith Thompson, the top-tier piercer behind Hollywood's elite, and even he said, flat out, his studio doesn't do dermal piercings on anyone under 18. Not because it's illegal, but because it's risky and it requires maturity to handle, especially on the finger, where it can snag or rip out. He didn't condemn North or Kim, but the implication was enough. The words 18+ echoed across headlines like a judgment call. Suddenly, the internet wasn't just debating fashion anymore. They were debating parental responsibility, age limits, and celebrity privilege. And of course, the question everyone was dying to ask, did Kim even approve it? Because the Kardashians live such public lives that nobody can tell who's in charge of what anymore. Some people speculated maybe North got the piercing while she was with Kanye. After all, he's known for encouraging creativity and self-expression. But then others pointed out that Kanye's also the one who once said he didn't want North influenced by the Kardashian lifestyle. He's publicly criticized Kim's choices before, accusing her of letting their daughter be too visible, too glam, too fast. So would he really have said yes to this? The debate split fandoms in half. On one side were the people saying Kanye's too strict to allow it. On the other, those who swear he's too unpredictable not to. It's the perfect storm of Kardashian-West contradiction. And in the middle of all that noise sits North, 12 years old, just trying to exist in a world where every move she makes gets broadcast to millions. That's the thing nobody talks about. For most kids, a piercing or a fashion phase would barely make the family group chat. But when you're Northwest, it becomes global discourse. Every photo, every outfit, every TikTok becomes a referendum on your upbringing. And as harsh as the criticism gets, there's something almost tragic about watching a child grow up in a world that refuses to let her just be a kid. But make no mistake, Kim's not backing down. She's been through worse. And if there's one thing she's mastered, it's turning backlash into attention. Even as the chaos rages, she's staying calm, posting her perfectly curated photos, projecting that same unbothered energy that drives her haters insane. But behind the scenes, you can tell the pressure's there. She's trying to balance the impossible, being protective without smothering, supportive without reckless, strong without being called controlling. And the internet? It doesn't want balance. It wants drama. Every headline, every clip, every tweet is pushing her to one extreme or the other. Either she's the worst mom alive or the coolest, most modern parent ever. There's no middle ground when you're Kim Kardashian. Even celebrities are joining the conversation now. Bethenny Frankel, never one to stay quiet, jumped into the fray, calling out the online hate and reminding people that kids are off limits. Her message was clear. Nobody should be dragging a 12-year-old over clothes or jewelry. But of course, that defense just poured gasoline on the fire. Suddenly, half the internet was cheering Bethenny for speaking up, and the other half was accusing her of defending bad parenting. It's a mess of opinions, all louder than the next, all convinced they're right. And through it all, Kim's still smiling, still posting, still pretending she doesn't see the storm brewing behind her. Because that's the Kardashian formula, never let them see you sweat. And just when you think the chaos couldn't possibly get any thicker, the Kardashian universe throws another headline at the internet like a grenade, this time orbiting around Kris Jenner and her longtime boyfriend, Corey Gamble. Because while Kim is being dragged over North's corset and piercing, Kris and Corey are living their own dramatic saga, one that has fans scrambling to decipher every glance, every public appearance, every subtle interaction for signs of tension or romance. The rumor mill, relentless as ever, first roared to life after a few tense snapshots of the pair surfaced at Beyoncé's Cowboy Carter concert back in July. Cameras caught Kris walking away from a frustrated-looking Corey in the VIP section, and the whispers began immediately. Uh-oh, trouble in paradise. But social media doesn't stop at whispers. It escalates, it thrives, it multiplies every assumption into conspiracy theory. Then, as if to prove that rumors never rest, wedding season in Italy delivered the next twist. At Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's extravagant wedding, Kris allegedly told Corey she wanted to travel solo on a water taxi, and according to onlookers, what followed was a cold exchange of eye rolls and forced smiles. Fans dissected it like crime scene evidence, speculating about tension, breakup whispers, and even suggesting Corey might be angling for a payout after years of loyalty. It was the perfect storm of speculation, and naturally, TMZ couldn't stay quiet. They cited sources close to the couple, insisting that Kris and Corey are not only still together, but laughing at the wild stories spinning across the internet, completely unfazed by the frenzy. And yet, even with that statement, the questions lingered like smoke in the air. Were the